So next week we have a match between CM Punk and Braun Breaker for the world title. And that just got me thinking, man. What exactly is the vision? With Seth Rollins or without Seth Rollins? What's the vision here? Because with Seth Rollins, right? It was supposed to be the plan B or whatever the fuck. And after that he became the world champion. And I think we're supposed to believe that that is the vision, that he wants to be the world champion. I feel like it just doesn't make any sense because why does it need to be a vision? When you say you have a vision, I think it needs to be something that's very specific. If you are wrestling in any promotion all over the world, it's an underlying assumption that you want to be the champion, right? Why is it your gimmick? Why is it your entire thing that you want to be the champion? We already know that, man. That's why you are here. Because you want to be champion. Seth Rollins became the champion. I think there was this other indication that they made that this is what's best for business. This is because Seth Rollins is a workhorse or whatever the fuck. Again, it doesn't make any sense. There are so many workhorses. And secondly, if you're talking about business, what's most important is who draws the most amount of people. And everybody knows that's not Seth Rollins. So I just don't understand this, man. Why is it okay? You have a character, right? You have a character who claims that I'm a workhorse and I should be champion. Why is it that nobody ever fucking points this nonsense out? Because when he became champion, I can barely remember him defending that title. He never did that, if you think about it. He literally never did that. He pretended that he's injured, and in my opinion, that moment was, I don't know. It wasn't really all that, man. People were making it out to be such a big deal. In my personal opinion, it wasn't really all that. Then he got betrayed by Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker, the faction's still called Vision, by the way, right? Braun Breaker now wants to become the world champion, and it's the same thing. And this time there isn't that indication of the workhorse champion as well that Seth Rollins used to fucking whine about. Doesn't make any sense. It's like they're trying to rip off Evolution here, but it's just not the same. Quite frankly, it's not even about Triple H. They need a Batista. There is no Batista. If they had a Batista in this faction, things would be different, man. But no, Braun Breaker is not like him at all. Batista from 2005 will eat this guy alive. Another thing I want to point out, man, is that nowadays there is this tendency with factions that they keep changing their members. They keep releasing members and they keep bringing in new members, man. Same thing happened with Judgment Day, and now as a result it's a completely different thing from what it was initially. And the same thing is now happening with the Vision, and you can kind of feel that the vibes is not the same anymore, man. We had Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, and those were the big guys. The other two guys were the lackeys. Seth Rollins got betrayed, and the faction is still called the Vision, which is fine. But now we have Logan Paul, and of course having Logan Paul is gonna change the dynamics of that entire faction, without a doubt. And now we also have Austin Theory. Austin Theory, in my opinion, man, should have returned as a babyface. He should have beaten the living crap out of Grayson Waller. And he should have maybe cut a promo where he reminds everybody that everybody's talking about who can beat John Cena, because we just had a retirement tour, right? But he should remind everybody that he was the fucking guy, the only original newcomer, so to say, who beat John Cena. He was the first one to do it out of the newcomer slot, I mean. So he should have maybe cut a promo like that and just went on a babyface run, man. He could have feuded with the Vision. Now, we have a group of people here who are supposed to be the newcomers, who are going to be the big thing going forward. So we have Austin Theory, we have Braun Breaker, we also have Bronson Reed for some reason, and Logan Paul to a certain degree. Logan Paul's obviously the best of the lot, if we're being honest, but wrestling's not his primary thing, right? So it's just never going to feel the same for him. Anyway, out of these people, who's the babyface? Nobody, because they are all in a heel faction. All their future prospects are in a heel faction. Gunther, also a heel. Not technically a future prospect considering his age, but I think they do have big plans for him, right? Aside from Cody Rhodes, who's also like almost 40 years old, there is no real baby face. Austin Theory could have been that baby face. I don't know what they're doing, man. Who's the next big baby face? I don't understand. We had Roman Reigns, who was the face of the company despite being a heel, but if you think about it, that has never happened before. This was the first time the face of the company was a heel. And quite frankly, if we are being honest, man, it was because his babyface run just did not work out. It did not work out, so he became a heel. And that worked out for him, luckily. But that's not supposed to be the formula. The formula is that we have a good guy and we have a bad guy. And the good guy needs to be interesting as well. Cody Rhodes, man, I will say this. He was interesting when he came back with his entire quest to win the title. But even when he was doing that, I was like, man, this is fun. But I don't know if it's going to last. Because eventually he's going to win the title. And what's his story after that? What's the narrative after that? And since then, man, it's almost been 2 years. He hasn't done fuck all. There is no character here. He won the title and now he's just a guy who's chilling, you know. He has a podcast with his wife and God even knows he's doing all these talk shows. He's having the time of his life. He barely ever shows up. I don't understand this. Drew McIntyre used to be a babyface as well, but again they made him a heel. Everybody's a fucking heel. And that brings me back to the real question, man. What's the vision? What's the vision here? I think it's very important if you create a faction for them to have some sort of a goal, something that sets them apart, and that just doesn't happen. Why is Judgment Day a faction? When it started, it was because Edge was like, I'm gonna pick a bunch of fucking youngsters and I'm gonna, like the people he sees potential in, and he's gonna push them to the top. Or something along those lines from what I remember. Bloodline was fucking Samoans who were like, well, this is our fucking island of relevancy and I'm the best, these are my fucking lackeys and we're gonna do this for the respect of our family and our bloodline. So there is something. Now you might not like some of these ideas, some of these concepts, which is fine, but there is something here, you know. With the vision, there is nothing there. It's just a bunch of guys who are together for some reason. And it's obviously an Evolution ripoff. It's not like the Evolution. Evolution is a faction that's gonna go into the Hall of Fame one day. This faction, fuck even knows. Fuck even knows what's gonna happen here, man. Another thing that maybe could have fucking set the vision apart was if they had some sort of a logo. Back in the day, if you remember, NWO, DX, these factions, they had a logo, man. They had a logo. These factions nowadays, Judgment Day has been around since the last fucking 5 years now, and there is no logo. It's just a bunch of gothic guys doing fuck all, and now it's not even that, it's something completely different. It's basically like a love triangle faction, which I don't even know, doesn't make any sense to me. Dominic Mysterio, while we are at the topic, is also a heel. Everybody is a heel. What the fuck's going on?